Hello, hello, and welcome to the All In podcast with Nate Pao. Of course, I am your host, Nate Pao. My guest today is Michael Johnson. Michael is an author, life coach, master NLP practitioner, and a peak performance coach. He works with entrepreneurs to help them learn the necessary tools to upgrade their internal operating system so that they can attain their dreams in business and life. With over 20 years of teaching and coaching experience, Michael brings a unique and effective approach to taking your life to the next level using using emotional education, intelligence, and mastery to deal with the challenges life and business throw at you every day. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Thanks for
excited to be
coming.
here.
Awesome. So, can you explain to people who don't know what NLP is and how you found it and why you've incorporated it into your practice?
It's a pretty legitimate question, and believe it or not, it's been around for quite a long time. Back in the 70s, a couple guys got together that were not psychologists. They were a mathematician and a physicist and a linguistic, and they got together and were bound and determined to figure out how people worked. And so they went and started studying people that knew how people worked. And they studied some of the great therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists of that day and era, and hypnotists and change therapists, just a lot of people that understood how people worked. And so they went in and they modeled that, and they found all of the consistencies, all of the things that they all did across different genres of helping people make changes. And then they figured out what it was that made those things worked and what was consistent. And so NLP is a lot about modeling. And a lot of times, because it works so well, a lot of times people think it's scary because, it doesn't take 20 years to make a change. You get down to the heart of it and you make the change right away. And all of a sudden it's like, well, gosh, I've been dealing with that for 20 years. I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden you work with somebody that understands this stuff and you fix it right away, and so it's a little bit scary, I think, to some people in that instance, because it doesn't draw out and go over a huge period of time. But, it's based off of modeling. And that's what they did to gain these skills and to learn these processes. And so we do a lot of modeling, a lot of how do you do the thing that you do well. And that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with this idea that I could go and work with people, figure out the thing they do well, and then amplify it and start to use it for what they determine to be good in their world. And that's a really big deal, because I think a lot of people have these superpowers, these amazing skills that they can do. And sometimes they're using them for bad. And when I say good or bad, I mean, it's obviously based off of in their own world. But so many people take something that they're really good at and then they overdo it in the wrong direction, and it produces these bad things in their world, and they go, gosh, I suck, I'm horrible, I can't believe I would do that. And I look at it and I go, holy cow, how do you do that? We should learn how to use that for something that you want instead of something you don't want. And so NLP really is a foundational basis for learning how to model other people. And it's talked about often. Tons of people use it. It's now used in the marketing world, in the business world. It's just very functional and very useful based off of things people do well.
Yeah, I like the idea of taking things people do well and I guess putting energy behind it and for positive outcomes. I think a lot of times, like, we have strengths and we have weaknesses, and some people say work on your weaknesses, fix your weaknesses, but in reality, they're only going to get so good, right? And then you're not really focused on your strengths. And your strengths, if you can amplify those, you're going to be able to do better things. You're going to be able to get what you want out of business and life a lot better than if you focus on your weaknesses. And then you have these, like, I'll call them like energies, right? Like you have like think about maybe somebody that's got like trouble staying focused in class, right? They can't learn properly and they're fidgeting and they're like, they have this energy. And so because they can't harness it the right way, they act out, right? And so they become maybe bad students in school, but they're really, really smart. But if you take that energy that they're good at figuring out problems and put that energy towards something they're excited about, all of a sudden they become really engaged with what they're doing. They become very passionate. They become almost obsessed in taking this energy towards something that's productive versus destructive. I think that's what you're probably trying to talk about with good and bad. It's not like, hey, I'm using my powers of sales to convince people to go out and rob and steal people. It's no,
Right.
I'm just using my skills in a way that just doesn't bring positive outcomes into my life.
And there's so many ways to use labels in a positive light, and so many times we assign labels in a negative light. And you're describing what a lot of people call ADHD, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big believer in it because I've met a lot of people that would have been described or labeled with that idea, and the people that I hang out with and the people that I associate with have figured out how to use that superpower to do something really great. And they actually look at it as something that is a superpower, and that is something that they use to maximize their potential. And I had it described once as being in a room, and I can imagine this, but I can't imagine being able to do this. But it's like being in a room with maybe 25, 30 screens of different channels all on at the same time, with all different volumes, all different things going on, different things happening, and having to learn how to organize it, sift it through, and manage it so that you can actually utilize all the information instead of it overwhelming you.
Mm.
And that's a skill. And when somebody has that and they can teach it to another person that also has that ability as well, then it can be really utilized and maximized instead of being looked at as something that is a detriment. And so, I feel like there are so many things that we do. And when you start to look at the things that we are doing, whether you have deemed them not good for you in your world or good for you in your world, you can look at those things that you have deemed not good and find the thing that is useful and skillful and say, how can I actually utilize that for something that's going to benefit me? And, being able to find those superpowers. Honestly, there really hasn't been a person that I haven't been able to work with in that regard and dig that out and go, okay, now let's do something really powerful with this. And that's partially why I love working with entrepreneurs, because there's a certain calling, even if they haven't started their entrepreneurial journey, or even if they've run up to a business where they are not happy and they're selling something and they're successful at the business side, but they're going, this is not my calling in life. I know how to make money, but this isn't what I want to do. And this isn't like maximizing my thing. So we dig that out. We dig out that superpower. And that's a lot of fun. And it's really fun for everybody involved, because you start to look at the things that you do well and you go, oh my gosh, I can use this for making money too, or I can use this for whatever it is that I'm trying to use it for. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's been exciting to be able to do that and help people with that.
Yeah, having a superpower is like, it's like discovering your gift. And I talk about this on my show a lot, that like you have an obligation to share your gift with the world, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't know whose impact you're going to make on their life. And if you hold it into yourself and you don't lean in and share your gift with the world, whatever that gift is, then you're holding back the ability to influence someone positively in their life, even if it's just a minor shift that just takes them from, you know, a path of trouble to a path of success. Like those things we do and share, like we never really know who's watching, who's inspired, and who's learning from us. So it's so important to figure that out and share it with the world. So I want to ask you, when did you find your superpower, and how did you come about, deciding being a coach is for you? Because you've been doing it for a lot of years.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think along the way and on my journey, it showed its face to me a lot of times. and I ignored it, a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that happens with a lot of people. It's, you know, you get these opportunities that show up and you go, oh, it's not time for that right now. And you sort of like push it off and go away. But I actually had a very interesting path because I started down a path of being a ballroom dancer. When I was 5, I started doing ballroom dance, and very quickly got absolutely, you know, head deep in it, and went on to dance professionally. I danced on the professional ballroom circuit for about 10 years, and had a really great career actually as a professional. It's a lot like the golf tour without all the money. We wish it did. We wish it had all that kind of money, but maybe someday. But
Yeah.
and it was a great passion. I still love it to this day. I own a brick and mortar ballroom school where I train high end athletes. I actually don't coach them or teach that many of them anymore because I do this more often. But I have a studio with teachers, and it's just sort of it's part of the passion. You know, I couldn't ever
Mm-hmm.
walk away from it and not have it in my world. But I got to this point at the end of that path when I was judging a competition, and it's one of those moments where you're reflecting in life, because it was the first competition I danced at as a kid. And here I was, full circle. I was judging it, and I was supposed to be in this moment where I'm the king of the hill, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
next to me are my mentors. On the right of me are the newly crowned champions. I'm right there in the middle with all of my peers, and I'm judging the professionals out on the floor. And this was supposed to be that moment where I had made it. Here I was, right? And I started reflecting a little bit, and that was a really profound weekend for me as I judged that competition and realized that that wasn't really the best and maximized use of my skills that I had learned along the way. And so about 15 years before that, I had dug in, as most professional athletes do. At a certain point, you start to look in and go, okay, I can get better. I can maximize my skills. I have coaches. I have things I can do, but what's going wrong? Why am I not having the success that my training says I should be having? And so I
Mm-hmm.
dug into NLP and life coaching and anything that had to do with peak performance. And really, it was 100% selfish. And I think during that 15, 20 years, it was all about me. I was looking at it going, how can I get better as a professional athlete? And along the way, to keep learning more, I got deeper into the subject. And of course, to get certifications, imagine this, they actually want you to work with people. And so I had to actually go out and get clients, and, you know, in order to get my life coaching certifications and really be able to get that next level of education, they wanted me to work with people. So I was like, yeah, sure. I can coach people. I'm teaching dance anyway, and I'm working with people on a regular basis anyway. Sure, I'll do it. I'll get the certification since I'm here. So I got all these certifications and all this stuff all along the way, but really it was, you know, it's embarrassing to say, but it was literally 100% selfish. And I did what I needed to because it was about me, and I was trying to find my way to the top of my hill. And being able to look back and look at it, I kind of go, oh, wow, I had to learn that, because this was really the direction I needed to be on. But it was sort of a, you know, it was a journey to be able to get to this point and be able to have worked with all those people along the way and be able to have gained those things, only to get to the end and go, wow, look at this. I don't want to be here. I'd rather be working with people
Mm-hmm.
on a different level. And my body kind of said, hey, you know what, it's time to you know, back off on the dancing side. You know, just like any professional athlete, you have a window of opportunity, and then your body starts saying, well, you know, maybe you should move on and let the new kids come in and do their thing. And so it's been fun, and really that's kind of what got me into it. And I've never regretted working with people. In fact, that was the underlying tone along the way, is that more and more, even with my dance students in the years past, it just got more and more into the headspace and realizing that, hey, if we can get your mindset organized, the other stuff is going to start to come in. The technical and mechanical things are going to start to click in. And most of the time, what was in the way was their mindset and how they were thinking about it, what they believed about themselves and what they could do, finding their superpower and being able to draw it out and say, okay, now let's utilize that. Because with every person, especially in an artistic sport, we had to be able to bring out their superpower and not try to make it so that they were doing somebody else's superpower. And I think that happens a lot in business, especially with marketers, and people that are marketing their business. They see somebody else is having the success on Instagram. They go, oh, I have to do Instagram, or they see somebody on Facebook. It's like, well, I have to do Facebook ads. And it's like, well, you have to find your thing that you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to double down on that and go with it. And that's been really how I got to this space. Most people are like, wow, you did ballroom dance. And I'm like, you have no idea. I wrote a book, and in it we talked about just the dance of life, because there's so many things that correlate. And I think, I'd love to say it was the same, but I think golfers talk about it, basketball players, football players, everybody's like, well, football is like life and golf is like life. And I'm like, ballroom is like life, So, but we all do it. And that's because it is, really we're looking at that thing that we do, and we're pulling out the correlations and putting it in,
Yeah, there's two things I want to touch on that you were talking about, was this selfishness of continued education, right? I think a lot of us, me in general too, like when I was in my 20s, I was a consumer of information. Like I was reading all the self-help books, I was reading all the entrepreneurship books. I was constantly looking and trying to serve my interests, getting training, moving up in the world. And you do this thing where like you get to the next plateaus and you go, or milestones, I guess, and you go, oh, I thought if I got to this milestone, I'd have made it and I'd be happy, I'd be content, I'd be fulfilled. But instead you go, what's next? What's next? What's next? But then you look back and you start realizing that you have all this knowledge that you've consumed, and you need to share it with people around the world. And it kind of starts off with like telling somebody here or there some bits and pieces of advice you picked up along the way. And they're just like blown away. They're like, how do you know this stuff? And you're kind of like, for me, it's kind of like, how do you not know that? Doesn't everybody know this? Didn't everybody read these books?
That's right.
Like, I thought everybody read these books. Yeah. And then, but when you share that knowledge, you start realizing that you understand it better. Like I had a teacher as in junior high, and he said right off the bat, like, hey, I'm going to teach you this stuff. And if I tell you how to do it, you're going to learn about 25% of it. If I show you how to do it, you'll learn about 50. If you actually do it yourself, it'll be maybe 75 to 80%. And then when you really master it is when you teach it to somebody else. And his theory was like, if you finished your work early, you had to go show somebody else in the class how to do it, how to finish their project. And I was like, oh, this sucks. I got to go help out some older kids in the class. But you really did start mastering the topic when you were sharing it with others. And I think that's what you're talking about, is like you gathered all this information for yourself, unknowingly realizing in the future, it's going to actually benefit you to go back and share that knowledge. And because you're sharing it now, you're mastering it. And then you talked a little bit about doing what's right for you individually. And like a lot of times people say like, hey, if you want to start a business, here's the roadmap, follow this plan. And then we get frustrated that it's not working. And for me, it's been about like finding your voice. So somebody says like, hey, post on Instagram, post on Facebook, these posts every single day. And you try to do it and you're like, this is frustrating. To me, it's a lot of the times just because it's not being done in your right voice. It's not in alignment with who you are. And you have to figure that out. And sometimes that means doing things that don't feel right, so that it pushes you in a direction where it starts feeling like, hey, this is how I can accomplish this task that feels right for me, right? So like if somebody goes, hey, this is what I post every single day, okay, well, I can post every single day, but I can't post what you posted. Like I have to have it be in my voice, what resonates with me, stuff I'm interested in. And I think part of that too is finding out who you're sharing your voice for, right? So like if you're thinking about other people, like I got to talk about this to other people, what are they going to think about? Then a lot of us start thinking about like, hey, it's overwhelming. There's too many people, so we're trying to be too much to too many people. And instead we got to narrow it down and focus in on one or two really defined people that we're speaking to. And then all of a sudden our voice starts making a ton of sense. So I loved what you're chit-chatting about there. And you touched a little bit on your book. You talked a little bit about Magic for Life. Can you explain a little bit more? What is magic for life?
Well, when I had to start working with clients, this is, I've kind of led a double life during my professional career of ballroom. But when I had to start working with clients to help them with weight loss and depression and marriage counseling, these are all things that I had to do as part of this certification process, and just getting the skills that I needed. Uh, Essentially, I had to create a company that was separate from my dancing, and I went, well, what should I call it? And all through the years, if when I go back to this name of magic, it was about a silly little thing. My initials are MAJ,
Mm-hmm.
and they would tease me in high school because I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player. It's the young man thing to do, and I played on the team, but there were two Michaels. And so they made us put our initials on our bag, but I had to have all three because otherwise our initials matched up the same. So they would all tease me because I was a Lakers fan. And so they go, "Oh, you're Magic Johnson." And so it kind of stuck, and they teased me. It wasn't in a good way. It was like mocking mostly. But it kind of stuck. And through the years, it kind of continued to stick with me. And so it was always that I was Magic Johnson. And so I loved the idea that finding that magic was something that was important for everybody's life. And it didn't matter whether you were playing basketball, whether you were chasing this dream of being a professional dancer, or whether it was trying to earn that first million. And there's always some magic in it. And when there isn't, that's when most people are unhappy, and they spend a whole lot of time being unhappy. And so what we're looking for is we're looking for that magic in life to be able to live in a great space where business is working, where life is working, relationships are working, and being able to find that space and that place. I believe it is magic. And the words come up oftentimes, and people go, well, magic is like, deceiving. And I'm like, well, actually the true magic, and we've all experienced it, and if you haven't, then that's really too bad. But if we've all experienced this magic, this true magic of life, where we can think something and we can create it, we can bring it into our world. And the unfortunate part is that we can do it poorly and we can do it good. Right. Mm-hmm. So we can create something we didn't even want to create in a negative way and go, yeah, I thought of that and I put all my focus and my energy and my heart into that. And boy, that turned out bad because I got exactly what I asked for. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like there is this huge magic in people's lives that is missing. And it's something that I strive to help people bring out, is that magic in their life. And I call them lifers. So my tribe is all lifers, because we're trying to find a way to be in that journey and be able to commit to being a lifer. And that is somebody that is constantly working. There isn't an end. The journey is the experience. The journey is the magic that we're actually after. And so, so that's how I address our tribe in the Magic for Life clan. Is they're lifers. We're in it for the long haul. We're looking to improve. We're looking to take our life to the next level, and we're looking to find that magic every day. But it's not your typical magic with a G, because that's all illusion. This is the real stuff. This is the real deal.
The J, right?
That's right.
So I have to ask you, what does it mean to you to be all in on an idea or an outcome?
I think for me, from the very beginning, I had great mentorship, starting with, someone great like my mother. And she just had great vision and great foresight as to what things could be. Not what they had to be, but what they could be. And that was always projected to me. And so when I thought I could be a professional basketball player, it was all in. Go do it. Get in, work hard, be disciplined, and love what you do. And then it was a moment when I got cut from the team as a starting player and moving into my senior year because I couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. Turns out I needed glasses. I didn't find that out till I got to college. But ironically, it put me all in on dance and being able to go after this thing and prove to everybody that I could be a professional that lived a wonderful life and made great money as a professional ballroom dancer. Because most people say, oh, you're going to be a dancer, you're going to be poor the rest of your life. And it was like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to prove that wrong. And so I went and became a ballroom dancer, and I made great money at that. It was a wonderful business, and there is a wonderful business to be had at whatever your passion is, whatever it is you do. And so what I got to do was I got to experiment and fail a lot and succeed a lot at being all in, at going after this dream of becoming a professional ballroom dancer and taking it to the absolute height, and then realizing, hey, you know what? I was able to do that twice before. I can do it again. And I'm going to do this with personal development. I'm going to help entrepreneurs specifically go and find the thing that they love and make their life good and make their business good, find the money they want or the relationships they want, because I can help them with their mindset and be 100% all in. And this can be a journey. It doesn't have to be a destination. And so for me, being all in is really understanding and learning on a regular basis, not only how I can improve myself so that I can be a good example, but also how I can take that knowledge and share it with other people, so that if I can affect 10 people today, tomorrow, over this year, and they can all do the same within about 5 to 7 years, we'll change the entire planet, which is very altruistic. I understand that, but you know what? It's okay. That's all in. And when I want to go all in, I've done it before and I can do it again. And for me, that's really what it's about. It's about committing and being in the game and not expecting it all to be perfect, but expecting that I'm going to get better every day and take it to the next level every day.
I love that answer of taking it to the next level every day, continuously trying to improve and knowing that you can, and that there's going to be obstacles along the way, but you've done it before and you can do it again. It's all about pushing through and persevering. So let's talk a bit about who you work with. Who is that person that you work with where it just really clicks, it really resonates, you just see a lot of progress on both of you? You're learning from them as much as they're learning from you. Who is that ideal client you work with?
Let's pause for a sec. Your audio turned garbled there. It'll be easier if you have, I waited till you.
All right. Slight break, but we're back. The question was, who is your ideal client you work with?
It's interesting, as with many business owners and entrepreneurs, it really does evolve. And so if you're in business, it's okay. You know, it's all right that it continues to evolve, because it's evolving so that you can ultimately hone into your ideal, your favorite person to work with. So for me, it's really about working with entrepreneurs that are knowing that there's something else there for them. They're trying to get into business. So oftentimes it's a struggling entrepreneur, but I don't mean that in a negative way, in a way where they're struggling to kind of find that groove, that place where everything's working and they're happy with what they're doing. And so sometimes that's at the beginning of their journey, where they're trying to figure out how to make their business work or how to make a business out of the thing they love. And sometimes it's, okay, I just, hit $1 million. I hate what I'm doing and I've got to do something I love, but how do I do what I love and turn that into a business? And you see that a lot of times. In fact, there's a lot of people out there in business, and some of our mentors and the people we look up to, you listen to their story and they're like, yeah, I made $1 million selling a power bar, but then I decided to do this. But they don't actually say, I was struggling because I hated selling power bars. Mm-hmm. And really what I wanted to do was this. And but they found the way to get into that. And so for me, those entrepreneurs specifically, I do really have a passion for helping them, because I love finding people's superpowers. And so by digging in with those struggling entrepreneurs that are in that space, and usually it's like that space right before they're going to kick in, but they can't figure out quite how to take that superpower and tweak it into the business that they're going to love to do on this life or journey. And so for me, those are the clients that I love getting on my schedule the most, because they're inspiring and they have great skills. And it's exciting to me to find people's thing and then help them turn it into a business,
Yeah.
because that's the part that I think a lot of times people, especially entrepreneurs, look at this thing. They have these superpowers, and you mentioned it earlier. Sometimes it's about, they get to this space and they go, well, everybody knows how to do that, right? Like that thing I'm doing isn't special. And you're going, well, actually, that thing you're doing may be like, you may be great at spreadsheets and you may think it's not that big of a deal, but combined with your other life experience and the very unique ingredients you've put into it, you might have this ridiculous business on spreadsheets that nobody else could have come up with because they don't have your thing. And so when I can dig that out of people, oh my gosh, it is so exciting. And it is so fun. It's not just fun for me, it's fun for them because they get into this thing that they love to do. And man, that skyrockets their world, which is really what it's all about.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's like we've individually lived our lives, right? And so that it's mundane, it's boring. We experienced all of it, and it's like, yeah, my story is just not that great. And you go, no, it really is great.
Yeah.
These experiences nobody else has had, and they're inspiring. Or you can create something that you can deliver to somebody else that nobody else can. It's just kind of figuring that out and identifying it. So it is so true. And so I could see why that is very powerful people to work with. So where can people go to get connected to you?
It's pretty easy. We've been talking about magic. You can go to magicforlife.com. Obviously, it's with a J. And you can find a lot of our resources there. You can find a connection to our podcast. I run a podcast 3 times a week. And so you can find a lot of great information there. And you can find our book at everyminutebook.com. And it's really about the power of living in the moment and understanding how to balance the past and the future and be here and experience life. And so there's 2 ways to get attached to us and to find the resources that we put out for you.
Awesome. So all those links will be listed in the show notes, and I encourage you to go reach out to Michael, say hello, tell him you found him on the All In podcast with Nate Peo. And, thanks for coming on the show. Really had an amazing chat with you, and, always encouraging people to get connected. And I think you got a ton of value to help pull out some stuff. So if you're struggling and you're looking to figure out where your purpose is, I think Michael's a good resource to reach out and connect with. So thanks again for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me. It's been fun.